Greetings, all. Reflecting on this past week's conversation, um, you gave wonderful examples of films and shared um, very generously your own lived experience related to um, rape culture and and sexual predation. Uh, as Manoa points out, um, there is an overall cultural pathology related to um, uh, demeaning um, certain population groups, and it's the same overall pathology that's manifested in different ways, like misogyny or racism, um, or as Tanya points out, um, uh, colonial uh, perspective or discrimination and stereotypes related to people who have economic challenges. So as Manoa points out, all of these injustices reside under the same roof, in the same store, and some even on the same shelf. Indeed, denigration and objectification are preconditions for abuse, because once we've dehumanized someone, then there is a supposed justification for abusive behavior. And so many of you share vivid stories of your own lived experience being denigrated and being the target of misogyny. As Diane points out, it was most fortunate to be so self-aware when, as a senior in high school, you were being grilled, and you told them I wasn't answering any more questions, and they needed to talk with me with my mom there and not three men. I hope they never forgot that experience. And similarly, with that horrific experience with the police and HSU, and Ashley describing your experience in middle school, being blamed and denigrated because you were developing more quickly than other students. Amber having the same experience. As several of you pointed out, our culture is saturated with objectification of women. Tanya's story about your 2-year-old daughter pointing out that all the female Disney characters have boobs. I remember when my daughter was 3, we were on the freeway, and she said, "Mom, how come all the boys get to wear clothes and the girls don't?" Looking at the billboards. As we've been discussing in various ways, people in power create the master narrative. And that master narrative typically includes myths that reinforce the power differential and the status quo. And as you discussed so beautifully in this conversation, we are all ranked according to our particular demographic characteristics, and according to our rank, we're ascribed um, a, um, a certain value and credibility in a given culture. Um, and those in power are creating the master narrative that marginalizes everyone else for the purpose of maintaining the power structure the way it is. So victim blaming is a prime example of the myth that if someone is victimized by those in power, in this case, males in a paternalistic culture, then it's that victim's fault. Another interesting current example of victim blaming is this myth that in the US, there is less misogyny than in other cultures and other countries. So that, in effect, gives the misogynistic behavior in the US a free pass because, well, others are worse than we are, so we can't be that bad. Your conversation was very rich and full of examples, not only in films and media and things that you have observed, but also in your own lived experience. And once again, you're very much enriching one another's learning, and I appreciate you for that.